I think there's a lot of emotion up there just now. Obviously, we all seen Dave's news, and hopefully his operation goes well tomorrow. Barry's come in, he's doing an okay job. They're at home. I think their home record's fairly decent, so I expect a tough game. Barry knows what he's doing. We've got a lot of time for him. Always had a lot of time for Barry. Every time we've been up there, he's been always very open, approachable, so I think he'll get the best out of the players. Scales will be back, McCrory will be back, so that strengthens them in the back line, so I think it's going to be a really difficult game. Yeah, you're always going to have that. I try not to focus too much on that, to be fair. It's history, it's historical event that I can't change, I can only focus on. Use it as a wee bit of motivation maybe, but it was that long ago. They've been down here previously since then, so we started the game fairly brightly up there, believe it or not, and ended up losing 5-0, but we got a man sent off, just a wee bit of game management. Got a man sent off, and I think everything they hit that day went in. For me, don't really focus a lot on that. It's more about where we are at this point in time, how we can go up and hurt Aberdeen, but obviously we've got to be aware of the threats that they carry. Yeah, I think there's a bit of that, to be fair. A wee bit of the unknown. I kind of been up against Jim for a good few years, so probably we both knew what to expect from one another, whereas Barry's a wee bit unknown. I think whenever a temporary manager or a new manager goes in, there's always kind of a little lift. So I expect to see that on Saturday. Obviously the chairman's going in for his operation, so there's going to be a lot of emotion around the place, which is going to add a wee bit of intensity to the game. I think there's going to have to be something done about this. Like, players get contracts, managers get contracts, but it don't mean anything. I think I've read about it. Obviously, I'm a wee bit biased in terms of my view on this, but I think continuity works wonders at clubs, and I do get it. I understand fans are very, very emotional. Now, social media probably plays a big part in your future. The more fans you've got, the more voices they're going to have, so to speak. But I think when you look around organisations now, it's not just managers. I'm slightly different, but it's not just managers who are making football decisions. You've got sporting directors of football, chairmen, chief executives, and they're going through managers like nothing in there. So I think there's got to be a wider approach. There's got to be a wee bit more pragmatic in the decision making. It's not just always down to the manager when the team's not performing on the park, albeit it's probably his futures that's at stake, but it's a diverse environment now where the manager's not the only one making footballing decisions. Where you go back maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago, I think you could, hand in heart, you would probably say if it wasn't working on the park, the manager's 90% to blame or 100% to blame. I'm not so sure, looking around some clubs now, you can say that at some of these clubs. In terms of their recruitment, might not be the manager, so there's a lot of different aspects, variables that the manager's not in control of. So I look around, it's like Critchley, QPR, like just things like that. It's crazy, but that's a modern game. But I don't think it's a good route to go down, if I'm honest. I think when you hire someone, I don't know, do you bring windows in for managers and we'll get sacked in the January, maybe? I don't know. Does that give you a wee bit more continuity? Does it help the decision making for the powers that be up top, that they know if they're going to bring a manager in, he's going to at least have to get a 6 months type scenario before they could replace him with someone else. So again, but social media plays a huge part in that there in modern day football. He's been brilliant, it's seamless. Like, I think I spoke about it quite a bit previously. Now I feel Livingston's at a stage, including myself, where if someone leaves, the wheels keep on turning. We're in a good place, we've got a good structure, probably more so on the park than off the park. Off the park probably needs a better structure in terms of resources and people coming in and doing jobs. So, but on the park we've got a really good structure in terms of the footballing staff. And for me, with one leaving, it shouldn't upset anything too much because of the way we've implemented it over the years. So, and I include myself in that. So I've lost a lot of coaches over the year. I think that's over the last 2 years. Tony Craig, Stuart Garden, Marvin Bartley, Dougie Emery, Liam Fox, and the continuity still at the club. And I'd expect that still to remain the same. I'm probably the one constant there, but I'd expect that to remain the same if I was to suddenly find myself out of a job or looking for employment. I think the structure, the footballing structure's in a very good place. Christoph, aye, brilliant. You wouldn't be here. I'd sack him. No, I'm only kidding. Brilliant. It's a very seamless transition. He's came in. He's a very experienced individual as a player. As a coach, he's still finding his feet, but I'm really happy with everything I've seen. So I've not got any complaints at all about Christoph, and if I did, I wouldn't be telling you in camera. So he's been brilliant. Nah, honestly, it's a very seamless transition, to be fair. He's kind of picked up for wee bits and bobs at the void that Marv left, but Neely's then came in and picked up the void that Marv left also. So from a defensive point of view, Christoph's fitted into that structure defensively, and Neely's picked up a bit of the slack with Marv leaving. He's picked that up also, so it's been a seamless transition. I'm very big in promoting from within, so by Marv leaving, Neely then got that job, and then that opened up again for someone else. I had a look at the academy. The academy's not really been up and running that long. There was nobody in there with the credentials at this point in time that could come in and be a first team coach, because that would be my first go-to. Normally I'd be looking at the academy structure, the 18s and then maybe the 16s. But it wasn't really anybody in that. The two boys that were in the 18s academy were away to Broxburn, and Stevie Pittman and Derek McWilliams. So it's been very seamless. How I see the club working, the structure of the club, the strategy of the club from a footballing point of view is very good. He's had a really start to his career at Livingston. Jamie, to his own detriment, trains at 100% every day, knock or no knock, just coming back for injury or not coming back for. He just trains at 100%, and sometimes I think it's to his detriment, but it's one of the aspects of Jamie's character that I really like, because it's infectious when he goes on the park. He wants to go and get the ball back, he likes a tackle, he runs, he presses, he's aggressive in the way he plays on and off the ball. So I'm hoping I'll need to watch how I use Jamie over from now, probably over the next 6 weeks, because if you let him loose it could be his own detriment. And I'm being honest there with Jamie, he's a great lad, so I'm really looking forward to try to integrate him back into first team football, but I'm also very cautious that I need to watch what I'm doing, because he was out with a long term injury, and we need to be very, very careful in how we manage his return to first team football. It's why I signed him, it's why I brought him into the building. I believe he's a Premiership football player, but again he's had a wee bit of a stop-start season, so it's very, very difficult to look at that just now in terms of his progression, because he's been hampered by injury. But one of the main reasons I signed Jamie was I believe he's a Premiership football player, so it's up to me as a manager to get the best out of him, give him that platform to go and try and be a Premier League football player. But ultimately he needs to be robust. We need to get some game time, we need to get a wee bit more consistency into his game time. I think he got that at Morton, and we've all seen what he could do. So it's just try to keep Jamie injury free, and then giving him a platform to then go and become a Premier League football player with Livingston. It's been very difficult with Nicky Devlin in the building. Nicky's the captain. Nicky's consistently over the last, well, he's been here for 3 years now, but is this his fourth season actually? Third. Nicky's had a wee injury at the start, but he's been very, very consistent. So for somebody like Jamie, he's coming in initially to push Nicky to take any complacency in that area of the park. It gives me another option, but I do believe that Jamie can play 2 or 3 positions, so right centre mid, and he can play further up as well. So he's got the opportunity, he will get the opportunity to do that, but we just need to get his body a wee bit more robust to the intensity of training and playing with Livingston in the Premier League. But there's no doubt in my mind Jamie has the ability to be a Premier League football player, and I hope it's with Livingston. It's kind of, I'm not going to go into what we do at the club. We've kind of got our own protocols in terms of how we manage head knocks. Christian's a bit down the road with that, so fans might be sitting here thinking Christian's not started or he's not. I've been limiting Christian's game time, which then limits his ability to head the ball. So I think we're now in a good space with Christian, whereas I can now consider him ready to play 90 minutes week on week. Whereas when he came back from think that was his second head knock when he's came back for that. I was trying to limit his game time on the park, whether he was starting a game and coming off or whether he was going on as a sub. So it's really, really important that I can see that as a manager, that it's something I need to look into. We've got our own protocols at the club, and I think you've got a duty of care to a player. It's now became a lot more relevant in football in terms of head knocks, whereas before I think we all used to get up and rub our head and get on with it, and then maybe hit a poor patchy form and you put it down to ability more so than maybe concussion from previous games, because it wasn't really anything we did speak about historically. So I think it's important that we've got the protocols in place. I know the protocols and I'm trying to identify and limit the players' game time in terms of bringing them in a managed recovery, giving it a strategy and getting them back onto the park and limiting his game time. In terms of training, we honestly don't do a lot of heading in training. Be very lucky if it's something that we do every weekend training, if I'm honest. It's more something that happens on a match day, and that's just through the way I like to coach. It's not so more so than we're changing training to suit concussion protocols. It's not a part of training that I really focused a lot or spent a lot of time on in terms of heading the ball. Yeah, I think there's an ongoing education from everyone, myself included. Again, it's like anything, it's being educated on that subject, and it probably gives you a better grasp of making better decisions in the future. So yeah, there's an ongoing education. I'm pretty sure we're not there yet. I'm pretty sure there's going to be more to come. So it's just about an ongoing education and the players being honest with themselves, because what you've got to remember in football contracts, there's appearance money, there's win bonus money. So a lot of boys might rely on stepping onto the park on a Saturday, starting a game of football, trying to win a game of football. That might play a big part in the finances at a club like Livingston. So got to be making sure that players aren't making the wrong decision. I'm going to say for the right reasons they want to play football, but it's maybe the wrong reasons, but for the right reasons at the same time. They're football players who want to play football on a Saturday, but it's not to the detriment of their health. But there is other mitigating circumstances in terms of finances, the way that football contracts are drawn up. So I've got to be mindful of that as well. And sometimes maybe speaking to a player and saying, "Are you okay?" and him telling you, "Yeah, I'm okay," and he passes concussion protocol, doesn't necessarily mean that he's okay to start that game again. It's about a managed recovery in terms, and between myself and the physio and the coaching staff, I think we deal with it pretty well here. Yeah, Tom's something like a bit of swelling behind his knee, but again it was expected. We all expected that, but Tom's very much like Jamie. There's a lot of old school work ethic mentality there, and it's holding Tom back. The closer he gets to the first team, the harder he works, but the harder he works obviously puts a lot more strain on his body. So we've got to manage his training loads, because he's one of them, you let him off the leash and it's probably his own detriment at times because of the way he goes about his training. So it's about getting his body ready to return to first team training and first team football in the Scottish Premier League, which is a high intensity. There's a lot of high speed running, high speed bursts involved in that, so we've got to manage his training loads and his game loads.
You'll get him back before the end of the season?
Yeah, I'm confident we'll get him back before the end of the season. Yeah.